Welcome, everybody, to Live with Dr. Carolyn Dean. Carolyn is amazing. She's a doctor, she's a naturopath, she's an herbalist, she's an acupuncturist. She's going to tell you exactly what she would do if she were in your shoes. I can't think of a person who has devoted more time to helping people's health than Dr. Carolyn Dean. She can make a huge difference as you listen to her words of wisdom. We know she's ahead of time because she is the doctor of the future. Welcome, Dr. Carolyn Dean. Here we are, Carolyn, once again. And for those just joining us for the very first time, I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Carolyn Dean. We used to call her the doctor of the future, but the future is now, and it is here. And after her courageous 55 years doing battle with all the principalities and powers of the medical pharma world, she is still reigning as the queen of magnesium, minerals, yeast overgrowth, and many other very insightful positions on natural health and how you can successfully use allopathic diagnostics to figure out what's wrong with you. But then we got to run off into nature and figure out how to reverse anything that you've got going on, and also how to prevent what might be occurring in the future and how to keep you healthy, wealthy, wise, and full of joy. I think that's our agenda right tonight, Carolyn?
Yes, indeed.
Yes,
tonight
indeed.
And every night.
That's right. That's right. So welcome, Carolyn. We've got a wonderful hour here for you. Please tweet this out, share this on YouTube, let your friends know we're here, we're talking tonight. We will take your questions on the chat line, and we will, of course, always run our regular programming. We're going to talk about natural health, Dr. Dean's books, her libraries, our blogs. We're going to talk about her hacks and strategies, and we're going to talk about the state-of-the-art question and response for all the different health topics. And we're going to talk about all kinds of fun things like the flowers that she's wearing tonight, Carolyn.
Yes, let me say that right now. Julie just sent me the landing page for the beautiful artist that makes these clip-on. Wonderful. I wear them on my clothes, but people who have hair wear them in their hair. And her page is urban-in for Nancy island.com, urban-in-island.com. So yeah, go and check out her page. She's doing wonderful things. She's an extraordinary person.
Oh, yes, it's very beautiful. I'm looking at it right now. Okay, everybody must go. But of course, after the show, because right now we have to pay full attention to what Carolyn's going to say.
Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to say, let me go to my files. I have files. Oh yes, instead of waiting till the end of the show, let's talk about our ABCs of immunity sale, because we've got the silly flu season coming up. So we want to prepare people for that, which means that you will be taking your immunity nutrients. So Ginny, tell us about that.
We've got 22% off at rnareset.com, which are Dr. Dean's perfectly personally curated and formulated therapies for natural medicine. And we are featuring the ABC. So you've got your A, your B, your D, your C, your E, and your K all on sale, along with some fabulous Pico Zinc Plus, and of course our Omegas, which are fantastic, and of course our Pico Silver. So run off, grab some. It's limit 2. We don't want to have everybody stocking their refrigerators between now and the end of time. But here's just a nice little pop-up sale for you to be able to get ahead and an advantage over your flu season.
Very good. Very good. I guess you could say that the next topic about our blog, it has to do with the the library book of the day, which is my Exposing Sugar Toxicity, a Clinical Perspective, because on the blog we're talking about PPIs and magnesium deficiency. Sorry, Rachel, I know you're going back and forth between the slides. Keep you on your toes. So the blog, PPIs and magnesium deficiency. PPIs, that's heartburn drugs. Protein pump inhibitors is their long name. One of the most widely prescribed classes of drugs globally. The two main ones are Prevacid and Prilosec, and now they're over the counter. So people don't even have to talk to their doctor to say, well, should I take this or shouldn't I? And it turns out that these PPIs are 20% more likely for you to experience a heart attack if you're taking PPIs. Now, I'll get to it in the blog, but that's because they do promote magnesium deficiency. PPIs have a black box warning by the FDA that says, oh, whoopsie daisy, this is going to decrease your magnesium. Now, I say 80% of the population already has low magnesium, so this is just going to make it worse. And I guess how the FDA gets around this is they recommend that you only use them for 4 to 8 weeks. But in customer service, we've seen people on them for years and years because the PPIs don't cure your heartburn. They just suppress your symptoms by stopping your acid production, your hydrochloric acid production in your stomach. And you need that hydrochloric acid to help digest protein, help convert minerals to a more absorbable form. And actually, though, if we have a high sugary junk diet with greasy fast food, supersized meals, no amount of hydrochloric acid is going to help that. So to me, that's the bottom line of heartburn type symptoms. There can be sugar fermentation in the stomach. And when the stomach is roiling, or the gastric juices and the food is roiling around, you can get a backflow of pancreatic enzymes from the small intestine. So all these things are causing a lot of potential stomach problems that are misdiagnosed. The other thing that the stomach acid does is kill bacteria, parasites, fungus, viruses that you're swallowing in your food or water. And one of the things that they say about PPIs is people can get more lung infections. And that can be if you have reflux, you're refluxing yeast or bacteria into your lungs, and there's your infection because there isn't enough hydrochloric acid to kill the bacteria or yeast. And then the undigested food molecules that don't have the benefit of the stomach acid create food for yeast and intestinal bacteria, and that can lead to the leaky gut and the imbalance of your microbiome that everybody's talking about. So, yeah, there's much more information on this blog, which you find at drcarolyndean.com down at the bottom of the homepage. And as I said in the beginning, I gave away my conclusion. People on PPIs are more likely to have heart attacks because of magnesium deficiency. So I recommend, of course, picometer magnesium. But then for symptomatic relief, the best thing to get is DGL licorice. DGL it's deglycinated licorice. They take out part of this licorice that can have side effects. So they make it a safe formulation to take before your meal. Now they're saying chew it 20 minutes before a meal. It strengthens the stomach mucosal lining, enhancing production of mucin, which protects the stomach against gastric acid. And it stands, I said deglycinated. Yeah, the glycerin has been shown to cause a bit of high blood pressure, so they take that out. Apple cider vinegar, a teaspoon in 4 ounces of water, and sip throughout a meal to aid digestion. I tried it back in the day at about a tablespoon, and it was too much for me, so start with a teaspoon. There are herbs. When you get herbs, try to make sure they're organic. Things like ginger, catnip, fennel, slippery elm bark as a tea or even capsules before meals can help heartburn symptoms. And diet-wise, I already mentioned, you want to avoid the greasy, sugary, spicy foods and eat smaller meals and stop eating 3 hours before you lie down so your full stomach doesn't try to make its way back up your esophagus. So that's our blog of the day, Ginny. Any questions?
Well, not a question, but a comment, which I thought was so precious. Robin said, my magnesium deficiency was caused by PPIs. No doctor would believe me or even help me when I showed them the FDA warning. This is when I discovered the Magnesium Miracle book, and it saved my life. Yay!
Oh, isn't that something?
Yeah.
We've had, over the years, we've had customers. I don't know if you remember, Jeanette, I think I wrote about him in my book. There was a guy who was so magnesium deficient, he had to be on intravenous magnesium 2 or 3 times a week. And we, kind of talked him through, and by taking magnesium every day, he didn't have to have the IV anymore. And they couldn't figure out what was a problem. And I think early on, we knew he was on PPIs, and we said, you should get off them. And it wasn't until he got off them that he started to heal. So he was treating his PPI magnesium insult with our magnesium, and it was fine, but it was this one drug that he was religiously taking every day. And if you've got heartburn, you will take 2 or 3 of these pills with every meal. I don't know if that's the case, but, I assume people are just taking it too much and way too long.
Right. I used to take a Prilosec, and it was just one a day. But I think that the thing of it is that what I find is been the most helpful thing is just knowing that you have to have magnesium to make the acid that breaks down your food. So how I changed and transitioned off that was I used to start to drink my magnesium during my meals. And that extra zing change was a game changer for me.
Very good. Very good. Okay, now we're at questions and comments. Now this is, I guess was it Benita that sent this in from one of our Spanish customers, Adela Rojo Davis. And she said, I've been a health nut since the 70s. Your formulas are the best in quality and value. I'll be 73 in a couple of months and still don't take pharmaceuticals. Also, the best of you, besides the queen of health, Dr. Carolyn Dean, is the awesome customer service. I love you guys. Thank you for your faithfulness. Isn't that adorable? And it's to remind our customers, we do have Spanish-speaking customer service people that can help you. And we are developing a big Spanish community. Would you say that's the case, Ginny?
Absolutely. Bianca's fantastic. And yeah, we have a great following in our Latino community. We have several pharmacies in Florida that are Latino driven, and it's fantastic. Yeah, Sarah Ellis has done a lot of work with that.
Awesome. Yes, she's down in Florida, so she would go right to them.
That's right.
Put her fist on the desk and say, you have to take our products.
That's right. That's right.
And here's a testimonial from a doctor in Lithuania. And he says, I'm extremely impressed with the book, The Magnesium Miracle. And I want to thank you for such extremely important information and meaningful knowledge. Although I'm a doctor, I simply did not know many things about magnesium. So, Jenny, we'll have to make sure this doctor downloads our Magnesium, the Missing Link to Total Health, for the update. And where's my book? I've lost it.
Well, he actually asked if he could translate the Magnesium Miracle, which I wrote back to him and told him no, that he would have to do the Missing Link. But actually, even more than that, Lithuania is Ivar's territory.
Oh,
So Ivar is connecting with him, and they're working out some good things.
perfect. Look at that. Awesome. And then there's a couple of questions. I'll run through them. A customer is asking about using comfrey as a salve for wound healing. And he or she asks, is it truly toxic? And what would I use for hard to heal wounds? Now, the toxicity of comfrey comes from reports on using it internally. So I've heard, my whole life, I've heard that you don't take comfrey internally. And there's nothing about it using externally that's dangerous. But what I tell people to use is our silver product, our picometer silver. It's incredible for wound healing. And if you're a bruiser, or you get, I don't know, if you bang yourself and you get a bruise or you get a little cut, you have to look at your vitamin C levels, because vitamin C is necessary to produce collagen. So there's the silver and vitamin C. And we have food-based vitamin C, and we also have vitamin C powder. I'm going to talk about the powder a little bit when we talk about making your mineral drink more palatable. And then here's a question. Now, this is what we're coming up against with all the clickbait on the internet. And someone is asking, can people with liver and kidney issues still supplement with vitamin C? So what's the basis of that? And before I answer, just search, Google, does vitamin C cause kidney problems? Does vitamin C cause liver problems? Now, what you'll see with liver is that vitamin C is helpful to the liver in its antioxidant detoxification processes. So it's not dangerous in any way for the liver. The vitamin C in the kidneys, that's a whole mishigas where some people decided, well, vitamin C might be making oxalic acid, and then calcium will come along and make kidney stones. And for that, old wives' tale. We know that millions of grams of IV, intravenous vitamin C, have been used in doses of like 50,000 milligrams at a time, with no cases of kidney stones. We had a group of vitamin C doctors on the show in, was it 2020 or 2022? And they've never seen it. So it's one of these old wives' tales that gets, shunted around the internet, scares our customers, and then thankfully they'll ask customer service or ask here on the show, what's the real story? And then I think the same person said, do the sulfur-based vitamin Bs from Realign negatively affect the kidneys? So again, it's, picking up the negative clickbait on the internet. Now, our Bs, or any Bs, are not sulfur-based. So there's no sulfur in our food-based methylated Bs. In our Realign, there are 2 sulfur-based amino acids. So you're not taking straight sulfur, and there's no negative effect on kidneys. So, and again, actually, I started Googling around and found that our quote friend Gary Brecka has been out there saying things about B12, and one of his critics, I don't know Gary Brecka, I don't know this critic, but there's a video where a man is commenting that Gary Brecka is droning on about how he finds it hard to believe that we are allowed to make vitamins out of hydrogen cyanide in this country. It turns out he's Gary Brecka, who labels himself a human biologist, whatever that may mean, on the basis of having a BS in human biology from the National College of Chiropractic, not exactly Harvard. So it's a real slam on poor Gary Brecka, who's just trying to make a buck. And what he's talking about is in a synthetic B12 is made from some sort of hydrogen cyanide is involved in the process because it's a cyanocobalamin. And anyone in natural medicine knows it's synthetic. Don't go near it, but it is probably cheap and it is in formulas. But there's a better way of talking about it than how Gary positioned it. So your first clue, stay away from synthetics. And then, different areas on the internet tries, it's just a little bit of cyanide. And there are some foods that like flax seeds and unpasteurized almond milk have cyanide. So it just gets too complicated. And it scares the people who are already kind of living in their head with all the layers of paranoia. And yeah, we have to cut back on all this negative rhetoric. And of course, in our bees, we use methylcobalamin, the natural source. And the methyl groups are necessary to help people who have MTHFR genetic variations. So that's our Q&As. And before we go to pros and cons, let's bring Ginny back and see what she has to say.
Yay! I don't have anything. Everybody's just taking it all in. No questions. Lots of complimentary things. Oh. Elma in Kuwait still loves you. It's probably shocking and hard to believe, but she's been with us for so many years. She gets up at 3 a.m. to watch the podcast in her country faithfully every week. And loves her formulas. She talks to her doctor about them all the time. And she's so healthy. And her husband's healthy. And she's always telling her kids about them. And she's a beautiful woman. She has a stunning daughter. And she's just such a good soul. And that is our audience profile for this evening. But yeah, Elma's here. And I just wanted to give her a little shout out. She always sends hearts.
Wonderful. Oh, yeah. Will my hearts be purple today? No. You're right. Okay, pros and cons of supplements, drugs, and research. Got a few things here. Lots going on. Now, last week I talked about the MAHA agenda where they said we're going to use a folate prescription in the autism treatment portfolio. And I talked about the leucovorin. I've forgotten how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. Leucovorin. Leucovorin, a synthetic form of folate called folinic acid, and it doesn't even have methyl groups. So the whole thing about a folate is that it's naturally methylated. So I really don't know what this prescription drug is going to do if it's not a natural folate with methyl groups. So that there's that. And then again with clickbait, they'll say something like, there are 9 foods in particular that can be extraordinarily protective of your brain health. And you think, okay, let me see, let me read this. But so many headlines like this. So I'm just tired of seeing them because food on all levels, organic or commercial, is deficient in nutrients. It's either deficient because the soil is farmed out. I'm funding a 46-acre farm here in Maui, and I can't live entirely off the farm. I have to take my vitamins and minerals. So the soil, it doesn't have enough maybe to keep up with the massive stress we have. The Wi-Fi is draining our magnesium, and it allows calcium to build up in our cells. So we need more magnesium there. All the stressors, if we're exercising, we're sweating. So we need more magnesium. So this business about eat these 9 foods and it'll save your brain. No, your brain needs magnesium. I've told this story many times, but I'm sure there are new listeners. We have 86 billion neurons in our brain. Their brain cells are called neurons. And in all our cells, there are mitochondria that make energy in what's called a Krebs cycle. And at the end of the cycle, after using magnesium in several places throughout, the ATP, adenosine triphosphate, is bundled up with magnesium. It's ATP-MG. You have to have magnesium. In each brain neuron, there are 2 million mitochondria. And each mitochondria has, I don't know, I'll have to look that up, how many Krebs cycles just churning away, making energy. Now they say, and I find it hard to believe, I don't know how to, but you'll find it everywhere, that each person makes their weight in ATP every day. So we make it, we use it. I mean, I find it hard to believe. I'll have to get in touch with Nick Norwich, the MD PhD, who I've been following, to find out if that's really true. But your brain is not going to be totally healthy and happy on 9 brain foods unless you also take your picometer magnesium in sufficient quantities. Nobody's taking enough magnesium. Okay, then there's such a huge push on mitochondrial health, on and on and on. They finally discovered, the mitochondria, everything is affecting the mitochondria. And I just said the mitochondria, where our Krebs cycle is, it makes our ATP energy. Okay, to fix your mitochondria, you need magnesium because that's what helps fuel the whole system. So experts now, they're saying, for the mitochondria, you need your exercise, you need cold plunges, you need hot saunas, you need red light, you need methylene blue. And then they'll toss off dozens of supplements that you should take kind of as an afterthought. It's just too much. The last article I read had 35 supplements listed, but they didn't put magnesium in the list. And that's number 1. And it's number 1 before all this cold plunging, hot saunas, red light. All these things are an afterthought because people are not taking their magnesium. If you read something and it doesn't start out with magnesium as the answer, you know that they haven't got the memo. And then, I don't know how much to get into this, but it's a real concern. There are people talking a lot about continuous glucose monitors. You really have to watch your blood sugar because they're saying insulin resistance is the cause of everything. It's the cause of all chronic disease. So there's a huge problem about this on the horizon because glucose testing isn't accurate if you're taking more than 500 milligrams of vitamin C per day. And I want people to be taking 5,000 milligrams. And if you're busy testing your blood sugar, your doctor is going to say straight out, well, you can't take vitamin C. And to me, that's just, it's criminal. It's really setting people up for poor heart health, poor collagen health. So when I looked into this more deeply, they say, if you're going to get a glucose test, don't take vitamin C for 24 hours. So that is quite important information. And I'll talk about it more in the vitamin C book that I'm writing, but that's pretty unsafe what's being advised. So back to Ginny.
Excellent. Yeah, that is pretty unsafe. I agree completely with you. Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. I
Yeah.
don't, yeah. Just a marvel every single week. Something else comes up. It's like, wow, okay.
Mhm.
Keep
And we
going.
yeah, we just grin and we keep going
That's
because
right.
yeah, we're healthy, happy, holy, wealthy, and wise. That's what we are.
Right.
Okay, helpful hacks. All I'm going to do for the helpful hack is just tell you how to make your mineral water, and this is all drippy, how to make your mineral water, I don't know, not tasty, but how to make it less yucky. You need some Pellegrino, some Zevia. It's Zevia. It is a zero sugar soda sweetened with stevia, and your vitamin C powder. So these things in your whatever your water intake bottle is. What I do, Ginny, is I'll put my minerals in a mason jar and fill that up with water and all my minerals, my vitamin C powder, Zevia, and Pellegrino. And I'll be drinking that through the day. I'll take my vitamins with it. But then I'll have a couple of glasses of sea salt water as well to make up, the 55 ounces of water that I take every day. So
Take medicine. Rachel, play her song.
listen to this.
Just take it down. Cherry syrup, bitter pills, that stuff would spin me round. Now I'm grown, life's got flavors worse than that, but I still choke it down, no matter where I'm at. I take my
There you go. I take your medicine. There you go.
That's Rachel's original song, because we were just choking her up the other week, telling her she's got to take her minerals, and told her how to take it. Seriously, at the market every week I'm talking to them. Well, I don't like the taste, and I'll have my whatever, what's it called, your water bottle,
Yeah.
but it's cold, and that's another thing. Put ice in it; it helps. So I'll have my minerals and all this stuff in it. So I'll just pour out a little in a little paper cup, and people say, "Oh, that tastes good." And I said, "Yes, you can make it tasty. You can do it. I trust it." So
That's great.
I don't know what it is about people. Have they lost their MacGyverness? Remember MacGyver?
You're right. Many years ago, a friend of ours bought a vineyard. That sounds very fancy. But anyway, the vineyard guy told her, the winemaker said, I'll never make any whites for you. I'll only make reds, because white wine in America has been totally perverted. They add so much sugar. They add sugar to tequila now. Everything has so much sugar added to it because our palate has been totally corrupted by sugar.
Wow.
So it's not that our minerals are even that strong or that harsh, because if you drink the water without minerals in it, it's very flat, and tastes like there's something wrong with it. That's people's palates have been ruined by sugar.
Yeah, good point. Very good point. Yeah, so that's what they're saying to us when, oh, I don't like the taste of it. It's not sweet enough.
That's right. That's right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to read my book. What's it called? Something about sugar toxicity?
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Okay, we are actually at the article stage of the program. And
Oh, hey.
wow, I really, what is it? Motorized myself through that. So we have a few articles. We'll start with metabolic surgery bests GLP-1s for costs and weight loss. So the last thing before the Ozempics was surgery to shrink, to cut off part of your stomach. I think maybe a third of the stomach is left over with some of these procedures to make you feel full when you eat a meal. I mean, how crazy is it that people allow themselves to be opened up and then they take their stomach out on the table and start carving it up so that you'll eat a smaller meal? It is so strange to me, but I guess I shouldn't talk. I'm blessed that I haven't gained weight in my life. And I know with all the people who are doing Ozempic, they must feel really desperate to lose the weight. So we'd like to give people alternatives, which we do and say with our protocols. But anyway, in this study, the researchers compared outcomes in 1,657 adult patients aged 18 to 75 with diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and obesity who underwent the surgery, and then compared them to 2,275 similar patients who were treated with GLP-1s. The gastric surgeries mainly cut down the size of the stomach to make you feel full so you don't eat so much. So that's what they're doing. And the Ozempics, we've talked about that. They cut off access to the vagus nerve and then make the brain think that you're full. And plus they give you a sense of, maybe it's a sense of fullness that comes from the brain, because they cut off your vagus nerve access, which is really not good. So anyway, the 10-year study found that all-cause mortality was significantly lower in the surgery group compared with the GLP group. The consistency and magnitude of surgery's benefits across death, heart, kidney, and eye outcomes were striking. So major surgery with all its side effects is safer and more beneficial than these daily Ozempic drugs. And I think I should stop here and talk to Ginny, because this is really, to me, it really shows the side effects of Ozempic if they can't even beat out that major surgery.
Yeah, because we know the side effects of the major surgery. And we even have a person on our staff who's had the side effects of a major surgery and regrets even having done it, although it was the most important thing she's ever done. She still regrets having done it because it was so dangerous and difficult on her body. So now, but I guess if you had that, I mean, she still has her sight. I mean, just to know that instant sudden blindness can be a cause for Ozempic side effect. They must not understand this when they launch off to do it.
No, it'll never happen to me. And then boom. Yeah. So that was really an interesting article to come across. The next one, chronic pain and cardiovascular disease. So this is interesting. A recent Lancet study explored what a person's life was like before they developed chronic pain. And they found that 50% of the pain group reported some form of cardiovascular disease. A third had hypertension, 1/4 reported arthritis. And they concluded that neuropathic, inflammatory, musculoskeletal pain should be considered a cardiometabolic risk factor. Google gobbledygook there. I don't know if the conclusion means a thing, but what I'm saying is, what do all these symptoms have in common? Magnesium deficiency and calcium overload. And allopathic medicine won't look at magnesium, but with this new information, it's inevitable that they will begin treating pain patients with heart drugs earlier and earlier. So they'll push statins on them if they have any sort of heart rhythm problem or rapid heart rate. They'll be on beta blockers. So they'll be scanning pain patients now for heart symptoms in order to drug them. And then in the final paragraph, they finally admitted that Well, NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, can greatly increase the risk of heart failure. So there it is. The medical treatment for chronic pain causes heart disease, and they will continue to ignore magnesium, which is anti-inflammatory. It treats muscle and nerve pain because it relaxes muscles and nerves, kicks out calcium, which causes muscle and nerve pain, and magnesium is a natural statin. So that's where you are, folks. You're in a bubble of learning how these natural, what have we talked about today? So the B vitamins, the magnesium, the vitamin C, basic things that are being ignored, and partly because the magnesium that's being used is laxative for a lot of people. All the magnesium compounds can be laxative. And that's why I was just so blessed to find a chemist who worked with me to make a non-laxative magnesium liquid that's a stabilized ion of magnesium. You do not need a magnesium compound. All this rhetoric about, oh, well, this magnesium has this attached, and the citrate's going to help this, the glycine's going to help this, on and on and on. They're just it's just selling points, marketing points, because the body wants magnesium. It's not looking for, this huge amount of the compound that's attached to it. When you look, and I've done this before, and I have the list in my Magnesium Miracle book of all the magnesium compounds and how much magnesium is in a 500 milligram, like a magnesium gluconate or glycinate. It could be 50 milligrams of magnesium and 450 milligrams of the glycinate. And that is not going to be absorbed. It's too big to be absorbed directly. You have to wait for, in the liquid of the blood, the magnesium and the citrate part to disassociate and stay stable enough to go into a cell. But magnesium is very active. It's going to join right back up. And again, you can't get a magnesium compound into a cell. That's why this picometer magnesium that we work with is revolutionary. You don't see it anywhere else. And we're fortunate to have people who are learning about it, and you are fortunate to have it. And then we go on to the next article about everything patients need to know about aging on GLP-1s. More of this Ozempic. It's amazing. Actually, I should do a PubMed search and find out how many GLP studies there are, because that's where the money is. So that's where the research money is, and that's where the articles are. So everything patients need to know about aging on GLP-1. So this is another bizarre layer of self-delusion that the medical community is foisting on the public, that GLP-1 drugs are the fountain of youth, and it's being called that. So 8% of U.S. adults older than 65 years have taken a GLP-1 drug, either to lose weight or to treat diabetes and heart disease. They're saying now it treats heart disease. So older adults are being drawn to the medication because of the anti-aging benefits. I don't think they are. I think that the doctors just want to prescribe them, and then, oh, I feel better, until I don't. And one of the things that older patients should be concerned about is there's a dangerous reduction in muscle mass. There's bone loss, there's low blood pressure, there's dehydration with these drugs. And the reduction in muscle mass, what's our heart made of? Muscle. So that's where you can then get heart disease symptoms and heart failure. In the beginning, you're losing weight. Basically, Ozempic helps you lose weight because it cuts off your appetite. And in losing weight, then it relieves the heart symptoms and various other things. But then you're losing muscle mass. You're getting all these other side effects. Jenny, do you want to leap in here and see if we've got any questions on the board?
Let's see. Okay, everybody's here. Margaret's here. Margaret and Jean and Robin and everybody's here, and they're all chatting about how they make their mineral drinks. No questions, so all is well.
That's awesome. Okay, so we've got the next one is interesting. Energy drinks may increase suicide risk.
Oh.
So I don't know who's going after energy drinks. Usually, the energy drink people will do a study on their energy drinks and say how awesome they are. But yeah, I forgot to look up. Oh, it's probably the coffee industry that's doing this study, because here it is. A meta-analysis of more than 1.5 million participants has suggested that coffee and energy drinks have opposing effects on suicide risk. High coffee consumption, more than 60 cups per month, was linked to significantly reduced suicide attempts, probably because of its stimulating and mood-enhancing properties. Now, this statement is it's so ridiculous. It just ruins the whole study, throws it into real contrast. And, because the next word is contrast. In contrast, even a single can of an energy drink per month was observed to increase the risk for suicidal thoughts and attempts, with a dose-dependent effect that can triple the risk at higher consumption levels. Look, you cannot say that one can of something is related to suicide risk. It just proved itself completely invalid saying that. So, I just wanted to toss it off. I wasn't even going to talk about it, but I wanted to bring it to people's attention, because this is what passes for science these days. So they go on to compare coffee and energy drinks, saying this difference may be explained by the presence of other psychoactive ingredients in energy drinks, such as taurine. Now, taurine is a good amino acid. Guarana, that's a herb. Did I write about that? No, it's a South American herb. And ginseng. I mean, they're all okay as far as I'm concerned, especially if the herbs are organic. And then they say, along with the energy drinks, high sugar content. So that's supposedly the problem, which can trigger anxiety, mood swings, particularly in young men who are the primary consumers. So the high sugar can be the culprit, but this study shows itself to be ridiculous again, because guarana, a Brazilian herb, is high in caffeine. So they're comparing caffeine to caffeine in this, with this one herb that can be part of the energy drink profile. So the results are quite striking. Suicide attempts were 30% lower among coffee drinkers compared with energy drink consumers. So basically, it's just a bad study. And I couldn't find who funded it, but it was probably the coffee industry. So what have we got now? Is it just this? Might be one more study, but it seems I have a lot of notes on it. Now, this is called pregabalin. Pregabalin might be the way to pronounce it. Don't know. It's tied to elevated heart failure risk. So what they've done here is, and it's in JAMA too, Journal of the American Medical Association. This pregabalin shows a substantially higher risk for heart failure. The risk is particularly high for people with pre-existing heart disease. So this is a drug that treats non-cancer chronic pain, epilepsy, neuropathic pain, fibromyalgia, restless legs, opioid withdrawal, generalized anxiety disorder, and shingles. It's classified as an anticonvulsant, analgesic, and anxiolytic. So this is like the gabapentin of old. And I mean, it's just a suppressant. It suppresses parts of the nervous system. So what are all these symptoms? The pain, epilepsy, fibromyalgia, restless legs, magnesium deficiency, anxiety, magnesium deficiency. So where's the magnesium connection? Nerve injury increases a neuron's production of a protein that directs calcium channel movement. So you get a nerve energy and it produces a protein that affects calcium. So pregabalin binds up this protein, reducing calcium influx, dampening pain signaling. So in shouty caps, I'm saying, what is a natural calcium channel blocker? Magnesium. So they studied this pregabalin and gabapentin in a group of 246,237 Medicare beneficiaries. I mean, they've got 250,000 people on these drugs without a thought to magnesium. All these people aged 65 to 89, no history of heart failure. So you've got an elderly population, they're low in magnesium, they're not moving around enough, not getting their vitamin C or their magnesium. And then they talk about this pregabalin more frequently associated with peripheral edema and weight gain than the gabapentin, contributing to fluid retention and increased cardiac workload. Okay, bottom line, while pregabalin may provide more effective pain relief than gabapentin, its use is associated with a higher risk for heart failure in older adults, particularly those with existing heart disease. They've recommended that clinicians should weigh this risk when prescribing pregabalin and consider monitoring or alternative therapies for high-risk patients. So again, in shouty caps, I've written, clinicians should darn well look at using picometer magnesium for pain that responds to calcium as a calcium channel blocker. So seriously, we need people to start shouting about using our picometer magnesium for pain instead of acetaminophen and pregabalin and gabapentin. So yeah, we're in a world of hurt because people will stop taking acetaminophen and go to these other outrageous drugs. Yeah, and yeah, the side effects, they don't even, there's dozens and dozens of side effects with these neuropathic pain drugs because they're affecting the nervous system in many ways that you can't even follow. And it's every person has an individual reaction to these drugs. And the way the drug companies get around it is they will list all these side effects. And then, the pieces of paper that I never get drug prescriptions, but every once in a while, someone will come to the market and show me their bottle. And then inside there's this paper with, tiny, tiny font of text and listing all the problems. They do that because then they'll say, if you try to sue them for side effects, it's, oh, it was written here. you didn't see that? And they blame the patient or the consumer.
Yeah, they sure do. They sure do. Yeah.
So that's where we're at, and we're at the top of the hour, sort of, and I'll let Ginny take over for her.
Well, I have some questions for you.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Russ is asking, what can be done to hydrate the skin and not get the crepey skin look that older people get? And I'm seeing it on myself after taking all the products, asking for a client, showing up mainly on the arms.
Right. Yeah, all those silly, you can't see them anymore because I hydrate with my Remag lotion. Seriously, when I started using Remag lotion on my whole body, it just hydrated and it got rid of all those bumpy things. I don't know about crepey skin. I mean, that's got to do with exercise as well. You know, getting your getting your muscles built up. Julie loves it when I show my muscles. But yes, if you're taking all the products, your cells are strengthened because you're taking your omega-3 algae. If you're taking your vitamin D and your A and E, you're getting all your oils that are keeping your cell membrane strong. If you're drinking your sea salted water, doing all that, then the external really is to put your Remag lotion on your arms. What do you say, Jenny?
Outstanding. I agree. I
Mm.
agree. Yeah, absolutely. It's a wonderful cosmetic. A lot of people think it's just a therapeutic, but it really is crafted for cosmetology. That is the Remag lotion. Remag balm is
Yeah.
probably a little more therapeutic.
Mm.
Also, Betsy is asking, in Japan, osteoporosis is treated with 45,000 micrograms. So how many grams of that is K2? Do you know anything about that? K2 is a treatment for osteoporosis exclusively?
Mm. Well, 45 micrograms, that's 45 milligrams. I forget how much K2 we have in our D3 K2, but that's just taking a nutrient, K2, which is very helpful to direct your calcium to your bones. That's why we have it in our D3K2. They work together. So what they're doing is taking a nutrient that has a function and giving it in medicinal doses, drug doses. So I don't know if there be side effects with taking high doses of K2. I haven't studied it, but that's their thinking about using it, and that's what medically what they do. Oh, look what they did with vitamin D when allopathic doctors started saying, "Oh yeah, vitamin D, everybody needs some." They started using the synthetic vitamin D2, 50,000 international units instead of like 5,000 or 10,000 a day, 50,000 units. And they were just overwhelming people with this synthetic D, and it was overutilizing all their magnesium stores. And people were coming to us with magnesium deficiency symptoms again after they'd been taking our picometer magnesium and feeling fantastic. So doctors will always overdo it. And I can't say anything more about the Japanese world and their K2.
Right. We only have 100 micrograms, but that's all really that's required.
Yeah.
We wouldn't do a high dose, and it's certainly not to swallow up a vitamin D with K2 in our particular formula. And I mean, obviously, we need to get a representative in Japan to start talking about Remag, because Remag is the go-to for osteoporosis. I mean, it just is, and I was at the NIH with Carolyn in 20, whatever year that was, Carolyn. We were there 2019 before all hell broke loose. And we were there with Connie Weaver, who's one of the world's leading osteoporosis researchers. And she's a calcium nut. And there were so many papers from around the world presented about magnesium and bone health and osteoporosis. And she sat there with her mouth hanging open.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Carolyn had been telling her this for 3 days prior to arriving there. And then she just sat there and just was stupefied about how important magnesium is in bone health. So if you're not doing your magnesium in the appropriate dose, we don't even want to get started on whether or not you even have osteoporosis with the scan or whatever they've told you. But really honestly, daily magnesium remag supplementation and remite is going to keep osteoporosis at bay. Would you say, Carolyn?
Definitely. And I've proven it, with my little body. I've thrown it on the ground so many times and I've never broken anything. And that's
right.
proof. That's proof
right.
positive that my bones are strong with magnesium. Because they say little people, oh, your bone. I mean, seriously, there's so much misinformation and scary things.
Yeah.
Oh, now that you're older, all this stuff is going to happen. No, it doesn't have to happen. Stop it. Don't even put it in your brain.
Yeah. Well, the minute that Carolyn said, for the first time I heard many years ago, well, your osteoporosis is all based on the healthy bones of a 35-year-old woman. And now you're in your 60s, your 70s, and you have osteoporosis. No, what you have is you have the naturally aged bones of a healthy woman, unless you're radically unhealthy and not attending to any of aspects of your health. You could possibly have it, I guess, Carolyn, but most of the people who are on our path are already doing great things for their body. They're walking with weights. They are physically fit. They are taking care of themselves. They are using the products. And I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't go with all that. Would you?
No, we just stay positive, and our customers are positive too.
Yeah.
Well, the little study that Julie and I are doing here, people just say, oh my gosh, I feel so hopeful. Or, oh my gosh, this looks so positive. And I feel, it's just wonderful. It's like a constant customer service that we're running here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So remag for your bones, remite for your bones, which also has boron in it, something we do not focus on a lot, but boron is fantastic for your bones. Zinc, very important for your bones. All the minerals in recalcia, remag, all of those are in remite, very important for your bones. And you could take Pico Zinc plus for your bones. And the omegas are very important for your bones. And of course, D. And if you have a concern and you are very low calcium, you have a low calcium score, then you could take Recalcia, which is Carolyn's, calcium formula. Right, Carolyn?
Yes. I go on and off it. If my knees start aching a little bit, I'll take my Recalcia, because I've fallen on my knees so much. I have to be careful about taking too much calcium if you don't need it. See, that's the whole thing that has women in a higher rate of heart disease, because we listen to the doctors who said, well, after age 45, you really have to be taking 1,200 milligrams of a calcium, that's like a calcium carbonate, 4% absorbed. It causes constipation. It precipitates in your joints. It's related to gallstones, kidney stones, heel spurs, and breast tissue calcifications and heart disease. So, yeah, you have an opportunity to learn about these things. If you join, we're behind a bit of a membership wall because the FDA doesn't like us helping people. And you can learn all this information, the various books that I've written, and various webinars as well. Do we have an osteoporosis?
We do have a webinar on bone health. Now, what Betsy's saying is, I've taken them all and I've taken them forever. Okay, Betsy, in that case, you have to call customer service and let them walk through what's going on. Do we have total biology for bone health, Carolyn? Is there a conflict basis of something like that?
Absolutely. It's related to devaluation.
Oh.
If you don't value whatever, yourself, what you're doing, the bones will feel it.
Okay. All right. Do I feel it in my bones? That's very cool. So Betsy, there may be some additional things to think about the conflict, maybe a conflict in your body or body holding some kind of a trauma, because the products are, what Carolyn always says is, once you solve the biological, and you're doing all the things and you're following all the rules and you've still got something unique going on in your body, then you have to go to the emotional conflict, which could be in your subconscious, unconscious. It can get a little weird, but total biology is fantastic, and it's usually right on track. So I would say talk to customer service and look at some of our total biology resources.
Right. Yes. I mean, there's something here. It's about somebody kept fracturing her ribs, and it goes into the details of just in general devaluation with aging, sexuality, duty, appearance. Generally in this society, a woman expects this, but still it creates conflict. The more conflict, the more possibility of osteoporosis. And then they talk about this woman who fell and broke her ribs, and she fell 4 times. And this is fascinating. It's got nothing to do with our person asking the question here, but so she talked about her family. She had 2 sisters. Now, ribs are related to your siblings. So all of a sudden, her siblings were causing her problems, and she started breaking her ribs. I mean, it's just fascinating how our body is tuned into everything we do.
Yeah, very, very cool. Excellent. You're so welcome, Betsy. And we know we've got your back and your forehead and your ankle and your hip. And don't panic. We'll figure it out, but definitely check in with customer service, okay? And you're welcome to ask again here. All right, Carolyn, I think we need to wrap it up, right? Are we wrapping?
We're wrapping. Yes. We don't need to go over. We got a lot done today. So I was just looking for more osteoporosis in my 800-page total biology file.
Very good. Be sure to check out Dr. Dean's resources, drcarolyndean.com. That's where you can find all the good things, all the things that she's had in her heart, like a little baby girl that's featured right here. And that's so precious. And then also rnareset.com is Carolyn's website and for her products. And by the way, we're having a little quick flash, and then it'll be gone, and don't be upset. Flash sale for you. And also picopets.com is where the pets are. We're having a fun fundraiser tomorrow night. We'll have pictures for you next week, and all the good things are happening. So
we're having a fundraiser? What?
We're going to a fundraiser tomorrow night for the Lake Norman Humane.
Yes.
Abby and Maddie and I are going, and we're going to be talking with people about Picometer, our hydration formula, which is fantastic, and sharing the formulas and all the good news and being there with everybody. So it's a sold out crowd. We'll have a lot of people there that we'll be able to chat it up with, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I love the little pets that I meet on our morning beach walk. We have 6 cats that Julie's feeding now. She just can't help herself. It's so cute.
Very cool. Very.
We're getting a raw chicken recipe from one of the vendors at our Tuesday market, Michelle.
Yeah.
And it's just adorable how they see Julie coming and they run up and she gives them a little teaspoon just because they're cat feeders. We're sort of sneaking in because we're not really the cat feeders. Cat lovers.
There you go, cat lovers. Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for being with us this week. And we'll be back with you next week with more good things. Always good things from Dr. Dean. Always, always.
Aloha, everybody.
Aloha. Uh-oh. Cue the music. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Wake up, Rachel.
Rachel? Where did Rachel go?
We can keep talking. There we go.
There it goes. We say it together. Bye, everybody.
You have been listening to Dr. Carolyn Dean, the doctor of the future. Become a member of drcarolyndean.com and get access to all her leading edge of creation information, as well as archives, webinars, and other valuable media resources. Join Dr. Dean and Ginny Almighty same time again next week.